Hello, I'm Benjamin Coy, Team Rayceen Productions co-host and moderator.
And I'm Rina, Team Rayceen Productions co host and moderator.
Joining us is Paige from Curious Caravan. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased to chat with you guys.
Thank you for joining us. Now, before we talk about Curious Caravan and your other projects, please tell the viewers a little about your background and who you are.
Sure. Well, my name is Paige Muller. I am the founder of Curious Caravan. It is a boutique trip planning company specializing in taking folks off the beaten path in DC so that they can discover hidden gems and realize that there's more to DC than monuments and memorials. I've been a Washingtonian for almost 30 years, so I think I can officially claim that title. I grew up overseas. So this is the longest I've ever called any place home. I live in the Woodley Park area, and my passions are music, art, and just supporting all things local. I really think it's important that people realize that DC is a city of neighborhoods. There's more to us than just Capitol Hill. There's more to us than just Kennedy Center, even though it's awesome and amazing and I love it. So I really like to support, small business entrepreneurs, performing arts, visual arts, arts of any type, especially if it's at smaller, maybe lesser known venues. I just really want people to know and appreciate all of the amazing things that there are to do here. And I really pride myself on things that I recommend or things that I've actually done myself, or I know someone, or I've been here long enough so I know the venue, the event, the people. I don't, I'm not someone who's looking at Yelp and looking at the reviews. I love being here in DC, and I really love sharing all the things that make it amazing.
So, Paige, tell us about these photos that we see here. Who are you smiling with? Where'd you take these?
Sure. Well, so one of the photos that you're looking at is with one of my favorite groups, Red, Gold, Green. I got an opportunity to interview them in a past life when I was a contributor with DC Music Download, which was a online music magazine, really focusing on the local music scene. We did concerts, panels, discussions, and interviews. And that's really how I got introduced into the local music scene. They were looking for volunteers, and I said, sure. My first assignment was going to Funk Parade, which I had never been to before. So, I couldn't have asked for a better assignment than that. Meeting so many great people and being able to interview people like Red, Gold, Green. And then the other photo is I was at an event at Folger Library, which just recently reopened after an extensive renovation. And this is one of the places that, I like to highlight because it's more than just a library. There's a theater. They have great events after hours on Fridays where they host poetry readings, music, craft nights. They just did a cocktail hour where they took recipes from, back in Shakespeare's day and recreated them. So this is just kind of a snapshot of the things that I enjoy and the places that I like to go and share with people.
Awesome, awesome. So you shared a little bit about it earlier, but please tell us some more about Curious Caravan.
Sure. Well, it's an accidental business. I never started out to be a business owner. I had no desire to own a business. That seemed really big and scary and hard. And but I was always the social butterfly, like the Julie Steubing from the Love Boat, in my little circle of friends. And my friends started telling their friends about, oh, I went to this awesome thing this weekend, or I went up in a helicopter. And so their friends started saying, well, how did you do that? How did you learn about that? And like, oh, that's through my friend Paige. And then people would literally email me and say, hey, can I get on your list? And I was like, what? Like, there's no list. This is just stuff that I like to do. I would invite my friends. So it really started organically like that, just saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you want to come, y'all come. And I had a friend who had family coming into town, and she's lived here a long time. She's like, we cannot go to look at another monument. We've done all the museums. What else is there to do? Can you help? And I put together an itinerary that she shared with her family, and she's like, oh my God, they loved it. There was something for everyone. And she's lived in the city as long as I have, actually a little longer. And she's like, I had never even done half the things that were on that list. And so that got me to thinking, like, maybe there is something to this. So that's how the business grew. So I don't give tours. Let me say that, because people always contact me to give tours. I am a licensed tour guide. I have given tours and I do them on occasion, but I really specialize in collaborating with whoever my client is to understand, well, what is it you're trying to do? And then kind of pushing them out of their comfort zone. Because you're never going to know if you like something unless you try it. And so, I really try to create a custom experience for them that takes them to maybe a place they've never heard of before, never been, really get them to meet with local people, because DC is about the people. And I've been so lucky to be welcomed into so many communities. And like, that's one of the things that I love about DC. I won't say there's no ego, but there is, I think in general, people welcome you. They're happy to share their craft, their talent with you. They're happy to answer questions. And so even though I cannot carry a tune, I can barely draw a straight line. Folks have just really welcomed me. And so those are the people that I want to make sure get their flowers and people know about. Oh, do you know about this great group? Oh my God, they're amazing. Or like, oh, have you been to this new exhibit? I think you would really like it. I want you to check it out. And while you're there, go around the corner and get a coffee at this place, kind of thing.
Now, that's what I would call a happy accident. Can you tell us,
Yes.
what is the Wander List?
So the Wander List, so that grew out of the kind of the informal list that people ask to join when they say, oh, next time you do something, send me an email. So it's grown from there. It's now a monthly calendar, and it's a mix of some things that are well known, but it's not like Kennedy Center needs my help. They have a promo budget. But if it's, like a festival or something that maybe people wouldn't necessarily know about, I'll include that. But I really try to highlight kind of unexpected, lesser known, maybe under the radar events, all across the city. Even though I live in Northwest, a lot of activities are really centered in Northwest, but I really want people to, venture, east of the river. I want them to go to the wharf. I want them to go to all the different parts of the city. So I try to really make it a mix of all the quadrants so that people aren't just going to the same 5 places that they go to all the time. And then, so it's a monthly calendar. And then every Monday morning, I published kind of a weekly roundup. So if people, are like, I don't want to go to the calendar, or they're overwhelmed with options, I give you like a bite-sized digest version of the week, so that, if you're in the office on Monday morning and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to get through? I'm like, look, after hours, here's something you can do, when you clock off. And then that takes them back to the calendar for all details. And hopefully once they're there, they'll explore and dig more and see what else there is to do.
So Paige, tell us about these photos that we see here that are showing now. Where'd you meet these people?
So all over. One of the photos is at the Anacostia Art Center, which is one of my favorite spots. I've been going to Anacostia for years, I guess, at this point. And it's such a great space. There's a black box theater, Mahogany Books is there. There's a great vegetarian restaurant, and it's in a great like little strip with, food nearby. And there's always some type of art that's on display. This was during what was this? This was like one of their pop-up events where I met this gentleman, and I love the pieces. If I picked up my laptop, you'd see them displayed. So like, I'd mentioned I love local artists. So, I always try to support, but I'm at the point where I kind of need to put myself on an art diet because I'm literally running out of wall space. And I have a stack of art that I have not hung yet. And I just keep buying, but I can't help it. If I had unlimited money, I would just be buying art in a big old house all the time. Then the other photo is at actually another one of my favorite art spots. This is Art of Noise in Petworth. Shout out Adrian Ferguson. Adrian is the owner, curator. He's got the most amazing eye for talent and for just amazing people. And thanks to one of his exhibits, I have started buying art. Because like I love graffiti. I love buying art when I'm, just kind of out. Art All Night is coming out. I support and I try to buy pieces. But those are like very reasonable. And Art of Noise was like my first, like, ooh, like give me pause moment before I, when I said, ooh, I like that. But Adrian really kind of gave me permission to start just buying art that I really like by artists that I really like. So yeah, whenever he's got a show, I try to come out and support because yeah, he's just got, like I said, a fantastic and amazing eye. And then the other picture, this was at the Embassy of Australia during DC Jazz Fest. That's Lakeisha Benjamin, who is amazing. She had performed at the Library of Congress, which also has amazing events. They've got like I think they call it Live at the Library on Thursdays. They show movies, they give great concerts. So she had been at the Library of Congress, but for whatever reason, I had tickets and I didn't go. A friend of mine who was a librarian there was raving about the show. And of course, I was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear how great it is that I missed it. I'm glad you had fun, but I don't want to hear it. So when I heard that she was coming to DC, I was like, gotta go, and it's at the embassy, and I've never been into the remodeled embassy before. So this was just a great night. This is an event that was on the Wander list. This is an event that I, took a lot of pictures at, tried to really promote it, and, showcase some of our local performers. It wasn't just, international. We had a lot of our local talent performing. So yeah, this is just kind of a range of like the things that I love and passionate about, and yeah, just try to support.
How about this one?
Okay, this one is actually not in DC. This is in Arlington at their Contemporary Art Museum. And I didn't know that Arlington had a contemporary fine art museum. I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And I was curious. So, I hopped in a ride share like one Sunday, and it is the cutest little museum. Like great exhibits. So if you like contemporary art, it feels like you're going to someone's home. If you're someone who is curious about art, but think it's, like a pinkies up kind of place, or you're kind of intimidated, this is kind of like a great option because yeah, it just feels like you're entering someone's home. This was like one of their first big exhibits, Lady Liberty. I think it's called Lady Liberty Lounging, something to that effect. It came in from New York. And of course, I had to get a photo of myself lying with Lady Liberty.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of more of these fun, exciting museums, what are some of your favorite museums or art spaces that you've been to?
Okay, let's see. So I mentioned the Anacostia Art Center. That one is tremendous. Then next, well, two doors down from the Anacostia Art Center is On Floor, which is a fantastic art gallery. It's actually like I think the first art space that opened east of the river. And it's amazing. I started going because a friend of mine, Terrence Nicholson, is a amazing artist. I got to know him first as a musician. He's like a rocker kind of metal performer. And so I knew him as a musician, and then slowly, discovered that he was also into visual arts. And so he, curated shows there. So that's how I started going. And it's this amazing off the beaten path hidden gem. They've got really, really great shows. It's a great space. It's another great space to go if you're kind of intimidated by art. It's very low key, but the art is on point. I mentioned Art of Noise. Got a shout out. I love that one. The Smithsonian African Art Museum, so underrated, and it's right there on the National Mall. I go in and it's like, where's everybody at? So I always like to give them their props. It's kind of a mix of traditional art and contemporary, and I like it because I think when you say like African art, I think people have like a image in their head of what that is. You walk in and there is some of that, to be fair, but it's not just that. It's very broad. So I love that space. Let's see, another art space. Oh, Krieger, which is a private art museum in Foxhall, so kind of adjacent to Georgetown. It used to be a private home, and it's one of those spaces. It's like, oh my God, like if I had money, like this is the kind of space I would want. Like they designed their home to be a space filled with music and art. They would do salons, and they would just, invite their amazing friends over, for, I don't know, charcuterie and whatever it is fancy rich people do, and say like, oh, this is world-renowned musician, would you please play on my piano in the foyer of my expansive house, and that piano is still there. It's a great space for contemporary art. They also have a jazz series. They do yoga art in the sculpture garden. It's a beautiful, tranquil space. And so that's another one that is a great introduction. If you're like, I don't know about this art thing, I don't really know about contemporary art, the people that work there are so knowledgeable. They'll answer all your questions. I mean, I think they hate to see me coming at this point because I always have questions. And they're very nice about answering all of them. Let's see, what's another art space that I really like? The Rubel, I think that's how you say it. Rubel, over in Southwest. They've got a new exhibit that's going to be opening next week, I believe. And I love it. It was a former school that Marvin Gaye went to, and it's been renovated, but they've kind of kept some of those old touches. And the family has a museum in Miami. They're very well known, like Art Basel and all of that. So you kind of get like that Miami Art Basel, like little flair in the space. It's beautiful space. I will say it is one of those art museums that people who don't like contemporary art will hate. Like if you're one of those people who is like, what is this? Or I can do this, or why is this art? I would not recommend going because there is a lot of that. But if that is your vibe, highly recommend. Okay, I don't know how many that is, but I mean, I could keep going, so I'm gonna cut myself off.
So many hidden places. Oh man,
Yes.
to visit some. Could you briefly tell us about the book you plan to release in 2025?
Yes, thank you so much for asking. I am co-writing a book, 22 Walks in Washington, D.C., that you must not miss, with my friend Andrea, who has a book out already. So this will be my first one. This will be her second. And it is a series of themed walks where we really are taking you into the neighborhoods across all of the quadrants. And it's part history, part hidden gems, part, stories. the walks are like, they vary in length. So if you're, we're not trying to make you run a mile or anything like that. It really is a kind of a great companion to like learn more about DC. So if you're a local, and you've never been to Tenleytown, or if you don't know about Black Georgetown, or if all you know about Anacostia is Frederick Douglass lived there, this is a great way to learn about those neighborhoods. We take you into restaurants. We point out famous historical locations. So it is really a great mix, but it's not a history book. So, I want to emphasize that we are not historians, but in any measure. I'm a person, like, I hated history in school. So it's kind of ironic that I'm into it now. But like, I'm into local stories, and that's really what this is. This is a lot of local stories and history of DC that just really people don't talk about. It's coming out next year. I believe it's coming out in March or April, so spring. We'll be planning, events to support it. We'll have a book event. We'll be doing lots of stuff. When it's ready, my friend and I, we are still editing. So it's not quite ready yet, but soon.
Love it. Love it. Speaking of, please tell our viewers how they can learn more about you and what's upcoming, including your plans for the holiday season.
Sure. So the best way to kind of follow on, what I'm doing and, what events are coming up is Instagram. It's at Curious_Caravan. Just look for my logo. It should be the first one that pops up. Just follow me there. Like I mentioned, I put out highlights of my monthly roundup. There's the weekly roundup that I do. Whatever events I'm going to, I always highlight them there. I highlight places, people, things. I'm not sure yet what I've got going on for the holidays. A friend and I are talking about doing something special. So, but she just launched a book over Juneteenth. So, we'll see, because she's been doing a lot of promo, but hopefully we'll be doing something together. And if we do, it'll be announced on Instagram.
Perfect.
Well, viewers, please look in the description below for links. Thank you so much for joining us, Paige.
Thank you guys so much.
To those watching, please follow Team Rayceen on social media and subscribe to the Team Rayceen YouTube channel.
And viewers, thank you for watching.